to the Independent Women's Forum senior policy analyst Patrice Lee-Onwuka and the Democratic strategist Kristen Hahn. Kristen, what do you think? Is that what it means? Because these are pretty impressive numbers. You know, one poll in New Hampshire, another in Iowa, but for Mayor Pete. All right. Little trouble hearing.
Both states.
Oh, there we go. Never mind. Carry on.
Sorry.
Little trouble hearing you at first, I was going to say.
No.
Kristen,
okay,
but
great. Yeah.
Please continue.
No, I think to me, it's not surprising. I think that he's got a really strong ground game in both of those states. But also, you know, he's somebody who has big ideas, like some of his more liberal counterparts, but he's willing to actually sit down and work with other people. And it turns out that the majority of the people, I think, in Ohio and Iowa and New Hampshire and across the country are looking for a more moderate candidate like that. And that doesn't mean boring. It doesn't mean, you know, they can't get elected or can't win the primary. And I think he's really appealing to people. You know, he got in a lot of, some of his opponents dropped a video, or you saw released a video of him talking to a Tea Party meeting back in Indiana when he was first running for office in the state. And, you know, they just maligned him for doing that. And I have not much in common with the Tea Party, but he was willing to go and sit down and in an honest way talk with people that don't agree with him all the time. I think people like that.
What do you think, Patrice? Bottom line, could Mayor Pete Buttigieg, 37 years old, the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, before running for president, could he be the Democrats' nominee and the opponent for President Trump in 2020? Do you see a world where that could happen?
No, I don't. I think his challenge is that he needs to cobble together a kind of coalition that Obama did. And he's not able to support appeal to the black vote. I mean, it was interesting that Bernie Sanders' co-chair last night, Nina Turner, lambasted him to a bunch of black donors, saying, no, he doesn't represent us because of policing issues. So he can't get he's struggling to get the black vote. He's also struggling to get blue collar workers on board. So, I mean, his base support is among white, wealthy, far liberal donors, which is great, and voters, which is great in New Hampshire and Iowa. It doesn't bode well in South Carolina
and
in other states following
afterwards. Do you think, Patrice, it all comes back then, by the time they get to South Carolina, is you're thinking it comes back to Biden? Is that what you're basically saying?
Oh, I think it does. And I think that's what the Biden campaign, they've laid their strategy on writing off Iowa, writing off New Hampshire, thinking, okay, we're going to show our support really strong in a third, fourth state, and then, you know, kind of continue that momentum.
Doesn't always work, right, Kristen, when you write off those early states? I mean, Mayor Bloomberg, if he gets in, is doing the same thing. And sometimes you don't know what the race will look like by the time it gets to a place like New Hampshire. How do you see it playing out?
Yeah, I mean, I think that for Mayor Pete, and I don't disagree with anything that she said, but like I think that it's a smarter strategy for Biden probably to focus on South Carolina. Mayor Pete. South Carolina, yeah. Mayor Pete certainly has a ton of work to do with the black community. That's apparent to everybody. But I think, you know, in order for him to stay viable as a candidate, he had to focus on those early states. Otherwise, I think he doesn't have the momentum and couldn't make it to South Carolina.
And again, we'll see the dynamic tonight. I mean, the last time it was everybody going after the Warrens and Sanders, but especially Warren. And tonight, you know, you have the impeachment news. It's kind of hovering above everything, and you wonder how much they actually talk about their own policies versus that issue. But Patrice and Kristen, thank you to both of you for coming on. We have an